These snakes scare me. These guys are renowned for just going crazy.
Today we're going to be milking 5 of Australia's most dangerous snake species. And in doing so, we're going to calculate how many humans that venom yield could kill. And in the end, explain to you exactly how anti-venom is created. I will be working alongside Billy Collette. He's a Jedi Master in the universe of reptiles, and to date, has milked the venom from all of Australia's most dangerous snakes. Hundreds of times. Billy, before we get into the intensity of milking snakes today, and I have to note to the audience, it is palpable how dangerous this room feels. Every one of these containers filled with a snake that can kill you. But I want to talk real quickly about the difference between dangerous and deadly and how with Australian snakes, it all combines together.
Yeah, there's a big argument there, I think, but when it comes to deadly and dangerous, we look at dangerous are the ones that kill the most people, and then deadly being the most toxic. So up here, we've got Australia's most toxic snakes.
Right. A lot of times the dangerous versus deadly breaks down to where a snake is located in its proximity to humans. How often you will come across a snake versus how infrequently you could come across it, correct?
Yeah. So at the moment, Australia's most dangerous snake is the eastern brown. It's not the most toxic, it's number 2 in the world, but it bites the most people.
Wow, okay, so that's because of its proximity to humans.
Yeah.
When it comes to the actual most deadly snake in Australia, which species would that be?
That's the inland taipan, and that's the most toxic snake on planet Earth.
Okay, the first one we're going to be taking a look at is the king brown. This thing is a giant, the mulga as it's commonly known. What do we need to know about the snake?
They've got the biggest venom yield of any venomous snake on the planet. What they lack in toxicity, they make up for in volume, and it's just an overwhelming effect on your system. And you imagine one of our really big king browns can pump out in excess of 800 milligrams in a bite. You can see straight away massive venom glands on this fella.
That is such a big snake. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go, king brown, the mulga. Let's milk it. Wow. Dang, that's a lot of venom.
So it's still going. His glands are still, they're probably still 80% full.
So he's able to control, in a sense, the amount of venom that he's choosing to give.
And look at that.
It's just locked in place.
He will not let go of that.
There we have it, the king brown officially milked. That's 1 out of 5, and that is an intimidating snake right there. Okay, Billy, king brown is down. And next up on our list of venomous danger noodles is the death adder.
The thing I find interesting about death adders is they've got the fastest strike of any snake on the planet.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, you can't even see it.
Wow.
Out of all the snakes I restrain, these guys make me the most nervous because A, their strike and their bottom jaw is extremely flexible like the vipers, and they get their fangs out the side of them and work them towards your fingers. So I use a 3-point grip like I do with all my snakes, and I just keep the front of that head as far away from my fingers as I possibly can.
You guys ready? Milking the death adder. Oh, jeez.
I jump every time.
It made me jump. You didn't warn me about that. You can see just with that leap to grab onto the vial, the speed, even with your hand controlling it, was fast. So what sort of prey species are these snakes specializing in? Using caudal luring like that with the tail, I imagine they're drawing in little mammals and
lizards,
maybe birds?
in particular, small birds.
Okay.
Yeah, they love to eat skinks and geckos.
Okay.
It's the only elapid, short, thick-bodied elapid that sits still on the ground and relies on camouflage and that ambush attack, you know.
Pretty cool.
So I wouldn't mind letting go of the head of this fella.
Yeah, let's put it back.
So yeah, with these guys, the strike is faster than the eye. So I've actually got to wait for him to pull away from me before I can let go, because I literally wouldn't be able to get my hand out of there fast enough.
Right, so you want his body
I need him to reverse like he's doing before I can actually let go.
All right, Billy's faster than the Death Adder. I like that. 2 snakes down, successfully milked. Next up is the tiger snake. This is my favorite snake in Australia. Wait until you guys get a look at this reptile.
Wild thing with tiger snakes, they turn your blood into jelly.
I did not know this. Your blood turns to jelly, so it coagulates it together?
It coagulates and then it can't actually move around your body anymore. So that's what can kill you if you don't use first aid with this. Well, with any of our species, but yeah.
Okay, so don't want to get bit by this one.
Same deal, when we get him onto the pin pad, I'll grab the head, you come in, body, and then block that cloaca.
Okay. Oh wow, that snake is beautiful.
Yep, you're good.
Ooh, wow. Pretty strong-bodied snake.
Yeah, they are. Very thick.
Whoa. All right, the tiger snake. Let's do it. Oh yeah, look at that.
There we go. So you can see it funneling out of that left-hand fang there.
Also a clear venom.
Yep.
Now, like the king brown, is this a snake that's going to bite and hold on?
Unlikely. More of a bite and let go, and then try and get away, unless it's grabbed a prey, you know, a lizard or a frog or a little bird or something.
And where are these snakes typically found? I mean, is this a species that humans are likely to run into?
Not as much as they used to. They used to be very common along the East Coast, but with urban development and so on, and their habitat cleared, they're not as common. But some areas they are, especially the colder, more alpine sort of areas, and even islands off South Australia and Victoria and Tasmania and so on. And he should let go pretty easy. And that's actually a pretty good yield. What I'll do is I'll swap you that.
Got it.
Don't drink it.
Yeah, I will do my best not to. Very tempting.
And I'll take this.
And tiger snake.
And I'll take him back to the
So far, successfully accomplished. Okay, that is 3 venom vials successfully accomplished. Let's see what we're gonna milk next.
So.
Yeah, Billy, what are you thinking?
I'm just warming up here.
Okay.
And picking, I think I'm gonna go with Keith. Like, all the taipans here are pretty jumpy.
And its name is Keith.
Keith, yeah.
Okay.
So he's not as reactive usually.
Okay.
He's a little bit more behaved, so I wouldn't mind using him.
Now, anything we need to know, because these are very fast snakes, correct?
So before antivenom was available, this species had a 100% kill rate when they bit someone in Australia.
Okay, so now that antivenom is created, that's not necessarily the case. So what you're saying is that if you were ever to be bitten by a coastal taipan, it is a 100% death sentence unless you receive antivenom treatment.
Yep. So, you know, normally as our snakes get more toxic, the venom yields get smaller. Not with these guys.
Okay.
And their fangs, they've got the biggest fang of any of our Australian venomous snakes and one of the largest venom yields.
Okay, so we are lining up now with a fast snake, a smart snake, large fangs, large venom yield, and very flighty.
Very flighty.
I'm gonna step over here out of the way and let you do what it is you do. All right, here we go. The coastal taipan is coming out of its enclosure. This is one of the most dangerous situations we're gonna possibly face here today. Oh, look at that snake.
Just get him into that right position. All right, you ready to jump on that tail?
Yeah, you good?
Yep.
Okay, that is a very intimidating snake, that's for certain. Look at the size of its head.
Long
My
head.
Goodness.
Big eyes, they're very focused, they're very in tune, they're very smart. These snakes scare me.
Okay.
Out of any of our Australian snakes, these guys scare me the most, and I imagine he'll be pretty willing to bite this. Yeah, and you can see that initial huge yield.
That is massive.
And look at the fangs.
Jeez, you're right.
And with the venom itself, so you know how the tiger snake causes your blood to clot? This guy does the complete opposite, and your blood thins out to the point where you bleed out of every orifice, out of your gums, your eyes, and you know, downstairs, just bleeding. Yeah.
So you're like internally hemorrhaging if you get bitten by this.
Internally hemorrhaging, and then it paralyzes your diaphragm, so your heart and lungs can't work.
And essentially you'll choke to death on your own
You
blood
just literally just die, yeah.
Wow, okay, that sounds like a horrible way to go.
But thankfully, the anti-venom is fantastic and the first aid is just as good. So.
Okay, how fast does something like that set in when it comes to your blood thinning out? I mean, how much time would you estimate you have if you're bitten by one of these snakes?
If you were to get bitten by one and do first aid straight away, it'd be hours usually before you had any symptoms, because that's how effective those bandages are. But without a bandage, I reckon, based off studies that I know, you're looking at about half an hour, you'd be vomiting blood, you'd be passing out, you'd be in a very bad way.
So a bite from the snake and within 30 minutes, you were going downhill quickly.
Yep.
Wow.
Breaking out in sweats and just in a very bad place.
Yeah, not a snake you ever want to tangle with. Okay, I imagine you probably want to get this guy back. Whoa, look at the inside of the mouth.
Yep.
He's looking at it, he's just
and
like, I
there's
mean business.
Hundreds of teeth in there across that bottom jaw and the top jaw for securing rodents, you know, and that's what they feed on. And those massive fangs. So I'll grab that tail.
Grab the... Well done. Oh. that was intense, and it's not even the most intense snake that we're going to milk today, but wow, I mean, I'm sweating bullets. I can't even imagine how you're feeling right now, Billy. I know this is a part of everyday life, but for us, getting to milk these snakes and see them up close like that, it's intense. So Billy, we have now successfully milked 4 snakes, and it's hard to describe how intense this scenario is. Getting through 4 of them, my heart rate is like through the roof, and there'll be days where you're milking several hundred snakes at a time, correct?
Yeah, it's heart pumping stuff, but like the thing I find is I just can't lose focus. And if I'm having an off day, I have to call it, because there's no point taking the risk with these things, especially those taipans, and as you'll see very soon, the eastern browns are just so jumpy.
We're about to milk the eastern brown, which is the most dangerous snake species that we're going to interact with today, arguably the most dangerous snake species in Australia. If the worst case scenario were to happen, if you were to be bitten, what is the protocol that you would go through to save your life?
We have a drill, and we can go through that drill if you want. You can be our victim.
Yeah, I'll play the not bitten by, but the what if bitten by victim. Yep. Yeah, let's do it. Let's test out a snake drill. Where do we start?
Right here with a snake bite bandage.
Okay, Billy, let's set up the scenario. A bite is most likely going to happen right in this vicinity if the snake's head wasn't pinned correctly. So, assuming I was trying to make my move, ooh, bitten, got bitten, Billy.
Okay, mate, just move away from the snake, come up this way, very quietly and calm, straight on.
Oh, that was bad.
Take that jewelry off for me and that sweatband. Gonna get a bandage for you. We're gonna go 3 times over your bite site. It's important to try and get those rectangles into squares on these type of bandages, because this is actually slowing down your lymphatic system movement in this limb, which is what the venom's actually traveling through. So it's not in your blood system yet. Okay. Really important you keep that limb straight. Okay. I'm gonna deal with this snake. So we've got the snake, he's back in the cage. I'm gonna grab the wheelchair, and at the same time, I'm gonna contact reception. Billy to reception.
Really
Coyote has been bitten by a tiger snake. He's got his bandage on, and I'm just transferring him to wheelchair now. The time is 11:09. Can you please advise Gosford ED that we are on our way? I'm grabbing the anti-venom. How you feeling, mate?
Oh, Billy, I'm scared, and it hurts.
Let me know if you start to feel nauseous or blurry vision, if you get a funny taste in your mouth, any of that. We've got to document any of those symptoms.
Oh man, I cannot believe that just happened.
That got us out here in 2 minutes, and we'll be at Gosford ER in under 10.
Okay, well that was pretty efficient between bite, wrap, wheelchair, out to the vehicle that would take me to the medical facility. Less than 2 minutes, and I'd be having help in under 15 minutes.
Yep.
Now, we need to head back inside and get ready to milk the most dangerous snake in all of Australia, the one and only eastern brown. All right, now this is a pretty good sized snake, correct?
It's big.
Yeah, one of the biggest, one of the fastest, one of the most ornery here in Australia, and the one that's responsible for biting pretty much more people than any other species.
Yeah, absolutely. So the eastern brown is now responsible for 65% of snake bite deaths in Australia.
Wow.
This snake is jumpy, so I am going to need a bit of space, and please don't come in until I've got him proper secure. And then I'll call you in, obviously, but yeah, I just need space. He's big, he's over 6 foot, very jumpy. and he's a wild boy.
Okay, eastern brown snake coming out of its enclosure. Ooh, that is a big snake. Oh boy, yeah, no, he does not look real happy, does he?
Okay, we'll get him over here. See him flatten out there. Strike.
Whoa, oh, yeah, he's really quick.
These guys are renowned for just going crazy. Not calculated though, like a taipan, they're just consistent with it. And it's what they use to bluff predators away. And obviously he would look at me as a predator, which is why he's acting like that. Also,
it's interesting the way he curls his body into, ooh, that was close.
See what I mean? That
yes.
sort of stuff. Straight up at your face.
You okay? You good?
Yeah.
That was intense. Okay, I think we got to get him under control at this point.
And he isn't even one of our jumpiest snakes. All right.
Okay, you good?
All good.
Okay. This is without question the strongest snake that we have held on to today. Unbelievably strong. Okay, you good?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Get him on here. All right, so you can see tiny yields.
Yeah.
But unbelievably toxic. And how's how they act? Like
spastic.
They just go nuts. And for the handler, you got to be confident in yourself, like reaction speed, not to let go, what you're doing, your next movement. And like I said, he's not even the craziest. He's one of the quietest Eastern Browns we've got.
I mean, that was probably the most intense, fastest move I've ever seen a human make, which I'm sure we caught on camera. I mean, he was all the way up by your face when he swung his body up. That was insanity.
He came mouth open at my face, like these things do not muck around.
Okay, all right guys, we're gonna get the snake back in. That was a very, very, very intense moment. You got him?
Yep.
Okay. Woo! Nice. Woo, man, that was so close. I bet your heart's racing right now, isn't it?
I don't really get the adrenaline dump from that anymore.
My heart's racing for you. How about that?
I know that sounds stupid, but because I'm so used to it, I'm so programmed. It's not that I'm not scared or anything. It's not like that. It's just, yeah, it's just part of the job with these guys.
Now that we've got our venom lined up, the next thing I want to do is sit back and take a look and try to calculate how many people this venom yield added up would kill. Billy, I would say that this lineup of shots here before us is arguably the most deadly 5-shot lineup in history.
100%, mate.
So what we want to do now is go through each one of these venom yields, and I'm going to write down your estimate of how many people this would kill. So this part of the episode is us figuring out just how deadly this concoction really is.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the King Brown. How many people would you guess that venom is capable of killing? This yield right here.
I would confidently say that would kill about 40 grown men.
Moving to our second vial here, that is the Death Adder. What is your guess, Billy? How many dead people?
50.
Our third vial belongs to my favorite Australian snake, the tiger snake.
I'd comfortably say 65 with that.
65 tombstones. Our fourth vial is the ever so frisky coastal taipan. Good size yield.
This is a very dangerous glass in front of us, and I'd say in excess of 150, probably more closer to 200 people.
Wow. All right, I'm rounding up. We're going 200 corpses coming off of that shot glass. And last but not least, one of the craziest snake experiences I've ever seen, your interaction with the Eastern Brown. A pretty small yield, but pretty toxic.
That's a big yield for a brown snake.
Oh, that's big?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a really big yield for a brown snake, and that'd be 100 people.
100 people.
Yeah.
Okay. 40 plus 50 plus 65 plus 200 plus 100. That is bonkers. So how much anti-venom could be created from this venom yield that we have here?
Not much. So you need about 30 of each to create one vial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the work that's being done here at Australian Reptile Park, this is the only place on the continent where people are milking snakes and creating this life-saving anti-venom. Without that anti-venom, people that are bitten by these snakes every year would not be able to survive. They say not all heroes wear capes. This guy doesn't wear a cape, but honestly, he should have one. It's impressive the work you guys are doing here. And one last thing that I want to answer for everybody out there watching, how is anti-venom made?
It's a crazy process, but in a quick sum, we milk these 5 species, we then freeze dry the venom, we send it to a lab in Victoria, they rehydrate it, small amounts, inject it into horses. So there's Taipan horses, black snake horses, death adder horses, so on.
Different horses designated for different types of venom?
Yep.
Okay.
And they get a tiny injection once a week for about 6 months. Their immune systems are so strong, they don't even pick up on the effects of that venom. I've been down there, they're walking around eating grass, doing horse stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the envenomation period, that 6-month mark, they bring the horses in individually into a lab. They hook them up to this blood machine and they draw a litre of blood out of them at a time. They run it in a centrifuge. During the envenomation process, their immune systems start to produce venom-resistant plasma. So they remove that out of the blood system, everything else goes back to the horse is fine. That venom-resistant plasma is anti-venom. They add some proteins to it, so the human body is more likely to accept it. And yeah, essentially we take on a horse's immune system. And our anti-venom in Australia, it's the best quality in the world and it's free. So we're one of the very few countries worldwide that does that. And here at the Australian Reptile Park, we are the sole supplier for terrestrial snake venom for that program.
Very cool. Well, Billy, this has been unbelievably educational. It was amazing to watch you work. Thank you for having us as a part of your day. Check out AustralianReptilePark.com if you want to ever come here and visit or just learn more about the work that they do.
It doesn't take a genius to recognize how staggering the mathematical death toll is behind today's venom experiment. And now knowing this, I hope you can appreciate why it's so important to avoid interactions of any type with Australia's venomous snake species. Every year, thousands of people are bitten. And every year, thousands of people are saved due to the creation of anti-venom. And while milking these reptiles has its inherent dangers, Billy is a seasoned professional who knows the risk, yet remains dedicated to his mission. But seriously, I saw Billy's life flash before my own eyes. So one more time, let's take a look at that shot. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, look how close that snake was to biting his face. Standing ovation. Billy is faster than the brown snake. We recognize the scream of their attacking buzz. We squirm at the thought of their blood-sucking bite. There are more than 3,000 mosquito species worldwide, and every year, more than 1 million people die from mosquito-borne disease. What are the odds you will be next? Getting bitten by a single mosquito is a discomfort we are all accustomed to. Getting bitten by hundreds of them at the same time is an experiment best performed under the guidance of experts. Catherine Przinski is a mosquito expert, and in her lab, she has grown a nightmare scenario for us to educate and, of course, entertain you.
Now, Catherine, here we are, and there they are. Are these the mosquitoes that are going to be eating me?
They sure are. This is the yellow fever mosquito. It is also known as the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Okay, and you say the yellow fever mosquito. That sounds dangerous, sounds potentially deadly.
These are one of the most deadliest mosquitoes.
Is there any chance that these mosquitoes have yellow fever?
No, these are lab colony mosquitoes. These guys have never been outside.
So you grew these mosquitoes just for me?
Yep, absolutely.
How many would you guess are inside of this container? Because it looks like a lot to me.
We hatched out about 1,000 mosquitoes for you today.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so not necessarily 1,000 chances to be bitten because some could be male, some could be female.
Correct.
The males will not be biting, the females will.
Very true.
And the goal here is for me to be bitten as many times as possible. Now, am I going to just crawl into this unit, you're gonna let them out, and I'm gonna get swarmed?
No, we're gonna take these guys over to the next lab.
All right, well, I'll let you lead the way. Let's grab our box of blood drinkers. Oh, this is gonna get a little crazy. Oh boy, eaten alive by mosquitoes. The moment you guys wanted is about to happen right now.
Warning, Never attempt the following experiment unless under the supervision of trained professionals. Mosquito bites can transmit harmful diseases that are considered fatal.
Here I am, there they are. 1,000 bloodthirsty mosquitoes. Now my arm is going into the box. There's a good chance that hundreds of them are going to be biting my hand, my wrist, and my forearm. Of course, I'm going to take off this leather bracelet because we wouldn't want to protect any of the good blood-flowing spots. And actually, to make this even more interesting, I shaved my entire arm and hand so that we can see the results of all these bites. Without further ado, it's time for Coyote Peterson to be eaten alive by mosquitoes. And they are hungry. They have not eaten in over 48 hours. Hand is going in. I want to make sure. Oh, wow, look at that. They just went straight for my wrist. Oh, it is go time. Oh, goodness, man, they are wasting no time going to town on my hand. Ooh, yeah, I can feel a little bit of something there. Now, when it comes to mosquitoes, the process of being bitten is very interesting. Remember, this is a bite and not a sting. Mosquitoes want to do their best when they land on a victim to not be detected. Obviously, the mosquito itself is very lightweight, but the way that the female's proboscis works, which is the front little suction cup straw apparatus, is they land and then they slowly begin to unsheath that proboscis. The proboscis has essentially 6 needles, 2 of which have these little saw-like tips. And I'm definitely feeling something happening at this point. Those 2 outer needles begin to saw through my tissue. The other 2, right to the side of those, spread the tissue apart, and then it's the center needle that begins to probe around looking for a delicious blood cell in which it can suck out the blood. Now, they say you can't feel anything when you're bitten by a mosquito. I definitely feel something going on right now. But for mosquitoes to drink more blood, they use an anticoagulant that they insert into your blood. Oh, my hand's beginning to shake a little bit. So that the blood has better flow and they can get a meal quicker. Oh, actually, the one right in the center of my hand, I can really feel. I turn this way, look at that. All over the top of my hand. There must be close to 150, if not more, mosquitoes currently on me. I start to sweat a little bit, and that's primarily because I really want to swat them off of my hand and my arm. The itching is beginning to give its onset, and that's my body's natural reaction to their saliva going into my skin. It forms histamines, which basically is my body saying, foreign substance, get it out of here, swell up, make a lump, put liquids in that area so that their saliva doesn't get any deeper. And it's really the mosquitoes in between my fingers right now that are the most uncomfortable. Now, when it comes to mosquitoes finding a feast, they're drawn to humans based on a couple of different elements. The heat coming off your body, the chemicals in your skin, and primarily the carbon dioxide that comes out of your breath that draws these bloodsuckers in. So watch this. If I blow hot air into this box, that's gonna further agitate them and say, hey, guys, blood buffet line is open and ready for business. And that blood is actually really important. The females drink the blood because they require it to help in the laying of their eggs. It's becoming rather unbearable at this point. Oh, I think they're getting pretty full. Well, it looks like most of them have decided to land on the back screening. I can see that most of them are off of my arm. What do you guys think? We have enough shots at this point?
Oh yeah.
Great. I love hearing when I can actually take my hand out of the mosquito box and take a look at how bad these bites truly are.
When it comes to mosquito bites, whether a single sampling or an onslaught of proboscis invasions, the results are almost always the same. Itching, swelling, and an uncomfortable annoyance.
The level of agony is best described as the itch you can't scratch. My arm has been out of the box of mosquitoes for about 10 minutes now, and you can clearly see that the welts are beginning to form. I have counted, as we were setting up for the cameras, nearly 250 bites. That's not to say that there aren't bites on top of bites. So I'm just gonna round up a little bit and say I got 300 bites in that matter of time. The top of my arm, the underside of my arm, and in between my fingers is the absolute worst. Now, to combat the unbearable itching that I'm going through right now, we're going to test out Chigrex. This product has been around for more than 50 years. This is the original, specifically designed for chigger and tick bites, but also all other types of bugs and mosquitoes, as you can see from the cool mosquito picture on top of the lid. Now, this is armed with benzocaine, which is the active ingredient. It's also got aloe and chamomile for a soothing effect. Now, I read that there is no oily residue that comes from Chigrex. So what I'm gonna do is gently begin to apply this onto the bites. And let's see, how soothing will it really be from the get-go? Here we go. It's cool to the touch. Ooh, that's actually really, really nice. Okay. Wow, actually, pretty much immediate the second that it begins to work into your skin. Holy cow, yeah, for real. The lack of itching happening here on the front part of my wrist versus here, immediately noticeable. All right, I'm going in for another swab of Chigrex, and I'm just gonna go ahead and coat my entire arm at this point. Now, in most bite scenarios, 1 or 2 bites, you're just gonna use a tiny dab of Chigrex. I'm going over the top because my arm is in so much itching agony right now. That was so rewarding to get Chigrex spread all over the hundreds of bites that are coating my arm. And I would say at this point, Chigrex, with 2 times the power, works immediately. Well, how about that? Everything you needed to know about mosquitoes, why they bite, how they bite, what happens after they bite, and of course, a surefire solution to the uncomfortable itch that comes from these pesky bloodsuckers. Oh, man, things I do for science, entertainment. Whew. Over the years, we have milked venom from all of the world's most dangerous snakes. And if you've been following along with these crazy escapades, then you know that we have strategically skipped over one of the most terrifying species, the mamba.
We are back in DeLand, Florida, at the Reptile Discovery Center. And as always, we'll be working with America's favorite snake expert. Look at Carl back there getting warmed up for a morning filled with fresh snake milk.
In the world of venomous reptiles, there's nothing more terrifying than an angry mamba. They're fast, strong, intelligent, calculated, and armed with a highly neurotoxic venom that if it enters your bloodstream is a guaranteed death sentence. Now here's something crazy. Carl has been bitten not once, but 3 times by these snakes, which makes today's venom milking episode the most dangerous one that we've ever produced. Hey!
Hey, Coyote, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Carl. How are you?
Welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys.
Thank you. We are back, and we are here to milk mambas. Let's talk mambas for a second, because generally people know there's the black mamba.
Yeah.
They know there's the green mamba, but in total, how many mamba species are there?
Yeah, so we really just say 4 species. 3 species of greens, and then of course the infamous black mamba. They are all African snakes. They're kind of distributed in different places through sub-Saharan Africa. Although interesting, the black mamba has the largest range of the 4 different snakes.
And the black mamba, as everybody out there watching knows, is so revered throughout its range. I mean, it's the snake that truly terrifies people. I would say of any snake on the planet, we hear that people are more afraid of black mambas when we're traveling, mostly than any other snake. What makes a mamba so dangerous?
Yeah, you're gonna see a little bit of it today. Black mambas, of course, get big, you know, almost 12 feet. That's an enormous venomous snake to begin with. They're terrifically toxic. Years ago, they would say before the advent of antivenom, the black mamba was 100% fatal in a bite. That's probably not entirely true, but no doubt. He's a hypertoxic, very large, very active elapid. So even though mambas are in fact shy, nervous, retiring snakes, when people are forced to interact with one or inadvertently step on one or have cornered one, they become a formidable adversary and a really challenging snake.
Okay, now the word that you said in there was nervous. And I can completely identify with the nervous nature of a mamba, having worked with one in the wild. We did work with a black mamba in the wild in South Africa.
That's magnificent.
And they keep you on edge for sure. And it's that nervousness that's very calculated at the same time. So in your opinion, when we're talking one being more dangerous than the other, green versus black, which one ranks as a more dangerous snake?
Well, as a more dangerous snake to handle, certainly the black mamba.
Okay.
And then more dangerous in general, again, the black mamba. He's capable of a large venom yield, a terrifically toxic venom. They're a challenge to handle, as you say, somewhat calculated and deliberate, and terribly unforgiving of a mistake. So we were doing lots of mamba venom in the late 90s and early 2000s. I have been bitten by 3 of the 4 species of mambas. That's very embarrassing.
Okay, so let's talk about being bitten by the green mamba for a second first.
So the green mamba was actually my second mamba bite, and because of the work we do with snake venom, I have become hypersensitive, allergic to snake venom. Like you would be to bee venom, it makes my work a little trickier. We have a terrific, what we call anaphylactic event. We tend to treat that on the way to the hospital, meet the emergency services people. They get in their way for me, get me going, and then into the hospital for antivenom. But by the time I was in the hospital bed, so now we're talking 20, 30 minutes post-bite, I was getting sick. I was having blurred vision, I was salivating, I couldn't get a kind of a swallowing thing happening, and so we were already starting to experience some neurotoxicity and this kind of thing. The tissue involvement and the blood formations happened later over the course of the next 2 days.
So, do you have mamba antivenom here on site if the worst case scenario were to happen and heaven forbid you were to be bitten?
Absolutely. So we've got a number of different mamba antivenoms on site.
Now, my heart is going faster than normal. We're in a tight enclosed room. There's lots of venomous snakes. You're telling me this story about having been bitten by the snake species. I know the demeanor of these creatures. Do you at all get nervous in working with any of these, especially something like the mamba coming out today? Any sense of like heightened anxiety?
No, but I get hyper-focused.
Okay.
You know, the whole thing that allows us to do our job is we don't fear the snakes, we understand them, but we certainly understand what's in play and the gravity of a snake bite. It's not something we take lightly.
Yep.
We haven't had a snake bite in 16 years. We've been safe for a very long time. We're going to continue that safety record today. Moving, coming towards you, Mario.
Whoa. Wow, it's beautiful.
They really are spectacular, aren't they?
Pressure.
Don't change anything. Good.
Whoa.
Tell me when everybody's good.
I am good, Mario. You good?
Yep.
So this is the milking moment right here, and smaller things, obviously, so you don't worry about them necessarily catching a finger, right?
So as elapids go, mambas have pretty long fangs, especially blacks. And remember, greens are often arboreal. They're almost strictly arboreal. And so these guys are often feeding on little birds and that kind of thing. And so those longer fangs help them. So we're going to bring him through. There he goes. You saw that first little shot.
Yeah.
Again, another. And another. Give him 1 second. We'll see if he'll bite one more time for us. So
That was crazy how it shot out of the fangs. More than just a drip. It was like, boom.
Yeah, you see this beautiful little chut, chut, chut. You know, again, they'll give you 3 or 4 shots. And let's see if she'll go one more time here. And that's about it.
I saw a little bit on the backside there.
So that's a good yield for that snake. We typically plan on about 50 milligrams for a green. My guess is that's actually quite a bit more than that. And as I said, that beautiful, slender, arboreal snake. And as a lapid go, these guys are really great snakes. I mean, that's really a beautiful, spectacular animal. We'll go back in. Everybody's good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. The way the venom shot out was much different than we've seen from some other elapids. I mean, once that venom goes in, guaranteed death sentence without antivenom. That went pretty smoothly, I'd say, right?
Good, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's get this venom secure. We're gonna come back to that at the end of the episode. And we're gonna tell you guys how many humans Carl estimates that yield would be able to kill. But first, we gotta talk black mambas.
Yeah, Coyote. So the black mamba becomes kind of a formidable snake as soon as you decide that you're going to interact with him.
Yeah, this snake, like as soon as we had the flashlight on, it knew, okay, I've been spotted, and as soon as we started moving stuff, it was like, get me out of here. It wanted to get away.
Yeah, right. Well, there you go. So and they're always looking for an out. They're thinking, I got to get out of here. Rightly so, right? They're dealing with this. So the thing with black mambas is they're somewhat unpredictable, particularly when they're restrained. And so we never entirely know how that's going to go in terms of how much trouble we're going to have actually just getting a hold of him safely. And when I say safely, that's both for us and for him.
Yep.
Or we're really concerned about making sure our animals are not hurt in the process and that they're handled properly and gently, but within reason, because we really are paying attention to what's happening here. And as you said, the idea of working an 8-foot elapid in this area that's unhappy.
It's intense. We did king cobra here a couple years ago, and that got intense real quickly. Don't worry about the camera. But this is compounded because not only is it a calculated, highly toxic snake, but this is another species that you were bitten by, and you are very much allergic to the black mamba venom as well.
Right, so black mamba bite was the first mamba bite I had, a big 9-foot male, way back in 1997.
How did that happen?
And we had actually collected the snake's venom, and I was returning the snake to the cage, and we were somewhat new to black mambas. We had only been handling them for about a year at that point, and I was still gaining my understanding there of those guys. And as I was going back into his cage, I had his coils kind of grouped in this hand, and I got his head too close. I went and he struck onto that finger.
And they're strong, so he was able to just use the momentum and the power of his body.
Exactly, and I didn't foresee it. You know, he saw that thing. We always used to say years ago when we were doing a lot of mambas, mambas are terribly unforgiving of a mistake.
Yes.
They're really aware of their distances. They're really aware of where you are. And so the big thing there is, right, you're never close enough. You're never in striking range. And of course, I thought I was controlling the snake's head, but I wasn't adequately controlling his head. And so back into this. So that was it. And we got some pretty good venom on that bite, and things began to happen very rapidly. At that point, I was not allergic to mamba venom.
Okay.
So it was a straight black mamba bite, and we were really able to document some amazing symptoms. But black mambas, again, heavily neurotoxic. Things began happening really rapidly. I was vomiting, blurred vision, convulsions. I was having bronchospasm. So we had some really serious symptoms. One of the good things about black mamba venom is it neutralizes well. So once you're getting antivenom, I can remember when they started the antivenom wide open, I could almost feel this sensation of, oh, okay, now we're moving in a better direction than we were. So after 2 days in intensive care, things got good very rapidly. And there's almost no local issues with mamba venoms, or at least black mamba venom.
Right.
So we don't see any tissue involvement or big hemolytic factors here, hemorrhaging, none of that stuff like you would be in a rattlesnake or a viper bite. So blacks are kind of purely neurotoxic, both post and presynaptic, but that thing can really get going fast.
Okay, so care is of the utmost importance today, and a couple of years ago when we milked the king cobra, you had this amazing grab of the snake after it was just so rambunctious, and I said,
whoa, look at the speed. Carl is faster than the cobra.
We know one point Carl was not faster than the mamba, so hopefully today I can say Carl is faster than the mamba.
Carl is getting slower.
So let's get out the black mamba. Mara's gonna pop back in and help you wrangle the snake. We'll get into position. This is as intense as it's going to get today, guys, when it comes from a danger level situation. The black mamba coming out, we've got to be extremely careful. So Carl, we're under your command. You let us know where we need to be, and let's make sure everybody's safe.
Okay, great. Is everybody good?
Everyone's rolling. You are
All
ready
good?
to go.
I'm hoping he's going to be in a good mood today. So we'll see.
Oh my gosh, that's a big snake. He's a monster. Woo!
I'm right in the wire, baby. Nice. Okay. Babe, good. Want to get him there? Can you have him? Okay. Hold on 1 second. Yep, all set. Everybody's set. You can be wherever you want to be.
Okay.
Get that, put that over there.
See, this is what I experienced. They coil up and they're so strong. That's one thing that I did not anticipate with the black mamba, is its ability to coil around you. And when I was presenting the snake on camera, the only thing I was thinking is that if I lost control of the snake, and remember, we had it in a tube, so I felt much more in control than you are now. If you lost control, that snake would be latched to you.
100%. And as you said, if he's wrapped up around you, getting rid of him presents a very real issue. So it's one of the reasons we stopped going back into the cage and we started just going into a transfer camp.
Okay.
So you can see he's ready to bite. He never fully understands this restraint thing. Is everybody good for him to bite?
Yeah.
Very good.
Everybody's good?
Yep.
There he goes again. Wicked
Wow,
shot right
so
there.
fast.
Wicked shot. Good. Another shot.
Look at that, just the bite and release, and it can control how much venom it's giving, correct?
Totally metering what it's giving me, absolutely. We think that process is largely cognitive, and he's deciding, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you this. And mambas, again, especially blacks and westies, really famous for these shots at a time. A little bit, a little bit. We'll get him again in 1 second. Are you good?
It is the intensity that the venom shoots out that you can understand how quickly then that gets into your body.
It's a millisecond, right? It's a millisecond. With blacks, I can remember on my bite, moving to the sink to wash my hands, you always take a minute to decide if the bite is actually hot. And all of a sudden my lips start going numb, my face is tingling. I was maybe 20 seconds into that snake bite. And I remember thinking, here we go.
And hot means you've got venom in your body, correct?
We've definitely got a hot bite, right? So one more shot. Perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was even a decent amount of venom right there.
Yeah, so that's really a good yield. We're probably looking at 150 megs there, which is about what we like for an adult black, about there. And he really did a good job today.
All right, I'm gonna just back up out of the way a tiny bit there. So
perfect. So Mara, you're gonna go back to your grab stick. Yeah, good. And then will you do me a favor? See that garbage can right next to you, Coyote?
This one.
Take all that stuff off it, yep. And you're just gonna put it down there by Mara. Awesome, great.
Lid off the top.
Yep.
Please.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm pressure now.
Yep, and you've got him.
I've got him.
Good, now hold on 1 second, good. I'm gonna let him go. I've got him, thanks, buddy.
Okay, I'm letting go.
Yep, grip that. That's a lot of snake. Hold on. Yep, hold on. Thanks, Coyote.
And that's where I say, Carl is faster than the mamba. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That was intense. The snakes are back in their enclosures, so we feel a little bit safer at this point. But we've still got two very toxic cocktails in front of us, the green mamba venom, the black mamba venom. And Carl, this is the part of the episode where we add up the number of what I like to call tombstones in regard to snake venom yield. Talk to us about these yields, and then we would love to hear your estimate as to how many humans this yield plus this yield would be capable of killing. So let's talk about this one and then that one, and then we'll add them up.
Okay, Coyote, so when people talk about dangerous snakes, there are really two parts to that, maybe three parts to that equation. One part to that equation is venom toxicity. So we know that mambas really rank up in the upper toxicities of snake venoms, right? So as elapids, cobras, and mambas, and all these snakes go, coral snakes, mambas are right up there. The next part of the danger equation is venom yield. And this has to do with how much venom does a snake put out in an average snake bite. And so we're going to talk about mamba venoms here, the East African green and the black. The East African green yield is about 50 milligrams of venom on an average yield. Now remember, we had that snake bite multiple times.
And it's got a pretty low viscosity.
This does. So some mamba venoms tend to be pretty light, pretty almost watery, whereas lots of our cobra venoms, this kind of thing, tend to be really viscous. King cobra venom is almost like maple syrup. All of that plays a role in how the venom spreads in the body. But so in the green mamba yield, now remember, he bit 2 or 3 times on this thing. We wind up with about 50 milligrams of venom. And we think that a guesstimate on green mamba lethal dose is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 or 15 milligrams of venom.
Wow.
So this would be probably in the neighborhood of 3-4 lethal doses of venom, something like that.
Okay. 4 tombstones off of the green mamba bite. Now black mamba, Bigger snake, bigger yield.
Sure, and a greater toxicity. So black mamba venom, we think probably somewhere, a lethal dose, probably somewhere between 5 and 10 milligrams. To give you a sense of that, that would be like 5 or 10 grains of salt in your hand. That's a lethal dose of black mamba venom. Again, we had that snake bite more than once. He gave us about 2 or 3 shots in here, but we're looking at about 200 milligrams in that draw right there. So of those shots, we were looking at probably 50 milligrams, 60 milligrams, this kind of thing. We wound up with a total yield of about 200 milligrams. So in the case of black mamba venom, if we were to say, well, 10 milligrams is lethal, and I think that's probably high, we would be looking at 20 lethal doses of venom here. So, and if we cut that in half, 40 lethal doses of venom. And again, we were talking about danger and yield being a part of that. So a big king cobra might give you 1,200 milligrams of venom for maybe 60 lethal doses.
Okay.
So even though quite a bit less toxic than the black mamba, the king cobra, or at least less toxic, huge amounts of venom. Or an eastern diamondback, where you might get 10 lethal doses of venom in one shot, because it's way less toxic, but lots more venom. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense. So it has to do with the level of toxicity, the yield, and I imagine the last part then becomes the snake's proximity to humans and how often you may or may not encounter that snake based on where it is that you live. So what we're ultimately able to surmise here is that a mamba bite is a guaranteed death sentence without antivenom regardless. It doesn't matter if it's going to kill 4 people or 20 people, you are one single individual person. And if you were bitten by either of these snakes, it's a medical emergency.
No question, a medical emergency, and potentially, depending on how much venom he injected, lethal. Yes, absolutely.
So what happens with this venom now that we've milked it? Where does this go specifically?
So the venom here will be filtered, it'll be cleaned up a little bit, it'll be frozen, and then it'll be freeze-dried into a powder form, into a powder substance. And once we have it in that freeze-dried form, it can be stored for literally decades. All of our mamba venom is going to research applications. We are not producing these venoms particularly for antivenoms. Some of the labs around the world are producing venom specifically for mamba antivenom. We don't do that here. Our mamba venoms are produced for research, and a good part of it is in the United States or Europe.
Right. And when it comes to antivenom and its availability based on where you live, so here in the United States, the snakes we can come across, antivenom is produced that specifically can help people if they are bitten by those species local to them. But in a country like South Africa, where you've got a lot of these snakes, depending on where you live, could be a big difference as to whether or not you can even get antivenom, correct?
Yeah, you know, I think the African continent is really a good place to think about the disparity in snakebite treatment worldwide. So we still see tens of thousands of deaths from snakebite in places like sub-Saharan Africa, in places like Southeast Asia, in parts of Central America and South America, where medical care may be days away. And in fact, when the individual gets to where they're going, there may not even be antivenoms available.
So it's not even guaranteed that if you were in Africa and you were bitten by mamba, that if the medical facility you got to may not even have mamba antivenom.
It may not even have mamba antivenom, and the medical facility may in fact be 2 days away from where you are out in the bush working with animals or whatever it is you're doing out there, agriculture.
Proximity is everything.
In you know, developed countries, we have an incredible luxury in access to medical care and access to antivenom in snakebite.
Well, Carl, the work that's being done around the world, specifically the things that you and Mara are doing here to milk snakes and then ultimately have that venom be produced into antivenom, is saving lives on a daily basis. Thousands of lives every single year. So thank you for all the continued work that you're doing.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
again, as always, for having us out here to the Reptile Discovery Center. Getting to milk the mambas today was certainly the top level of venomous snakes that we could have done a venom episode.
Glad you guys enjoyed it.
Snake bites seriously injure or kill over 600,000 people worldwide every year. How crazy is that? And Carl told us about this amazing group, the Asclepius Snakebite Foundation, a nonprofit that is dedicated to reversing the tragic cycle of snakebite outcomes through innovative research, medicine, and public health initiatives. Believe it or not, snakebite is a global health crisis. And if you want to help, check out their website because every donation helps them save lives.
Woo! The elevator almost ate me. It's been a while since I've been at college. Today we're at the University of Arizona, and we're gonna be getting up close with some nematodes. But first, we need to find Dr. Stock in room 720. Follow me, guys.
So just walk into the first open lab you see is kind of the play here.
We're definitely in the right spot. You've got biology and worms up there on the tack board.
Back to school.
Ah, there it is, room 720. Oh,
so
guys,
boy.
Who let this guy in?
I was gonna say, who let Mario in?
Guys, I am a trained scientist.
All right, here. Let's see what you've been doing. What have you been up to?
What you in here without any permission?
What have you been up to in here?
You weren't touching anything, were you?
What? No, don't touch it!
Oh, sorry.
I'm conducting a few experiments of my own. Yeah.
We're looking for Dr. Stock. Have you seen her?
I don't know. Maybe around the corner.
Oh, Dr. Stock! Paging Dr. Stock! Coyote's here! There you are!
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. You look very official with the lab coat.
Of course,
and
that's
some,
the way
I'm
we need to
assuming,
be.
important papers. Of
Oh,
some
just
sort.
looking at the things that I need to pay for.
Ah.
The bills of lab equipment and supplies.
Kind of important, I guess. So, as I understand it, we're going to be getting up close with nematodes today.
That's right. And does people know what nematodes are?
Yeah, they're like a little amphibian.
Yeah, they're
bumpy little warts, really cute, little buggy eyes, right? And then got that tongue.
What? No toads?
Nematodes are roundworms.
Oh! Roundworms like a parasite?
Like
Hold
a
on.
parasite, yeah.
I signed up for toads.
I heard toads and I was
That's
like,
what
I love
he told
toads.
me. He told me toads.
But don't, have no fear because the ones that you are going to see in my lab are actually not that gross looking. I actually find them very cute.
Really?
And interesting.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, I don't have them there.
Oh, now I feel official.
Now all professional.
How do I look, guys?
You actually look more intelligent, believe it or not.
Yes. I have intelligent things to say. It's a very astute day for Coyote Peterson because we're going to be learning about nematodes, which are not amphibians at all, but are actually a parasite. I thought they were just cute little amphibians. Okay, let's get into this.
Yeah, let me put my very good away.
Well, what are we doing today?
Well, you are going to get that actually bugs get sick too, and one of the diseases that bugs
Wait.
can get-
Did you say bugs get sick too?
Yes.
As in
bugs
insects can get sick?
Yes, so that's my profession. I'm a bug doctor.
Well, this is pretty cool. Now, this is one of the first episodes we've ever filmed in a situation like this where we're in a lab, we're working with microscopes, and I see you've got all these little test beakers and pipettes out here. So let's kind of follow what it is that you do, and we're gonna learn something cool today.
Yeah, turn over to Dr. Stock. Why don't you tell us about what we're looking at here?
Well, yeah. So as I mentioned before, I work with insect diseases, with nematodes, and the nematodes that I study are actually very tiny little creatures. So this flask that has water, and if you can see what is the flakes that are shaking inside, those are the nematodes.
Those are nematodes?
Yes, those are insect parasitic nematodes.
I see they kind of do look like little squiggly lines. To me, this just looks like bad tap water.
Yeah, and and you shouldn't drink it actually.
Oh, I was gonna say, can I taste it?
Well,
Bad
I
idea?
wouldn't recommend that.
Okay.
Just in
If the
case.
doctor says don't drink it,
Yeah,
don't
just
drink
in
it.
case. I can show you actually other kinds of nematodes.
Yeah, let's
Oh, there's different kinds of nematodes.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a nematode.
Yeah, and you know where it came from?
A poop?
Well, it came from a lake in Wisconsin, and actually that's a nematode that was parasitizing an immature stages of a dragonfly.
Wow, that came out of a dragonfly? Mm-hmm. Now, how did you extract it from the dragonfly?
It came out on its own.
That's crazy looking. Can you actually even see that on your camera?
Oh, yeah.
So that's nothing for us as humans to be afraid of, but if you were a dragonfly larva, that's like your worst
the
nightmare.
Bad news. Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Well, hey, I noticed there's some plants down here. Are you working with some plant research?
Yes. Well, actually, it's all connected. So we are studying nematodes that parasitize insects that are pests to important crops that we eat.
Okay.
And
Oh, is that a big caterpillar?
Yeah, that's a big caterpillar.
Wow.
I'm gonna get it out for
Oh,
you.
wow, that is a big caterpillar.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
What kind of caterpillar is that?
Oh, this is
It doesn't
kind of
bite,
like
does
a
it?
no, it's a tobacco hornworm.
So this is a pest insect, despite the fact that
Yes,
it's
they are very
really
voracious.
beautiful.
They could feed on this plant. If I put that caterpillar on this plant, tomorrow morning I have no leaves.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yep, that's good. So, where does everything start, right? In my research?
In a tummy?
No, in the soil.
Oh, in the soil. Oh, doesn't all life come from the belly of something?
Actually, I have to say that thanks to these worms, I travel around the world, and I've been all over the world sampling
for worms?
For these nematodes.
Whoa, those worms are gross looking.
Yeah, well.
What are those, maggots?
No, this is our guinea pig.
Okay.
And also, I use them as baits to get the nematodes that are living in the soil.
That's nematode bait?
Yeah, so when I go to the field and collect dirt samples, I bring them to the lab, then I put them in containers like this. I put all these waxworms, which actually are a pest problem in beehives, because if they get into the beehives, they would feed on all the wax in the comb of the hive, and it will destroy the comb.
So that's where they get the name waxworm.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense.
So what I do, I leave this dirt sitting in another room that I have in my lab for a week. And after that, the magic happens. So what I get is all these infected caterpillars.
Those are dead?
Yeah.
What happened?
That's
Oh, I smell it. Just hit me. Keep it back. I got a zoom lens.
Yeah. Well,
oh my gosh, that is putrid. I almost threw up my burrito into your little nematode waxworm pile.
In spite of that smell, actually there's no putrefaction here, because actually the nematodes that we study have inside their tummies bacteria. And this is the bacteria that comes out from the nematodes.
So is that some valuable research right there in that container?
Yes, because actually the nematodes, what they do, they vector the bacteria who are actually the true insect killers. So the bacteria is the one that kills the insects, and then what...
And the bacteria is coming from the nematode?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the nematode is the distributor of the bacteria that ends up in the waxworm.
Exactly.
I'm learning here.
Yeah. And I hope you can capture this with the camera. So you have your dead insects there.
Let me plug my nose, get down there real close.
Oh yeah, I see something.
Oh my gosh, that's like a deflated wax worm.
Those are the worms coming out.
Why don't we take a look under the microscope? Because I think everybody would really like to see these worms in action.
Oh yeah, so we can put these under the microscope and get an up-close look at these little wigglers.
And we can go to my other lab where we have the microscopes.
Dirty lab. We're gonna go to the
microscope.
Dr. Stock, I'm lightheaded here. All those funky smells. Woo!
So I have the worms here actually ready for you.
So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna look inside these little eye sockets, and the other camera is gonna point at the screen so you guys can see what it is that I am seeing. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Got that shot? Yep.
Get that shot on the screen there, Mario. All right. Oh boy. That is one squiggly worm party. Are you serious? So this is what's going on inside of those wax worms?
Yes, exactly.
And how many of these are inside a wax worm at any given time?
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands?
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
Wow, that is really cool. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to crouch down here. We're going to look at this actually on the screen so that I can talk to you guys while we're looking at this. Now, are we just seeing, we're just seeing the silhouettes of them, right?
Yeah, actually these are the ones that are coming out from the insects, and we call them infective juveniles.
Okay, so these are opportunistic predators looking for a host that they can then infect. They'll grow inside, and then how do they reproduce? Do they reproduce inside of the waxworms?
So, yes, they will reproduce in the waxworm or any other insect that they think is suitable for them. But actually, the nematodes go into the insect blood, and that sends a signal to the nematodes to start opening their mouth or anuses, and the bacteria start coming down. And so the bacteria are either defecated or regurgitated, and the bacteria throw toxins that kill the insect, and the insect dies. Now when the insect dies, it's actually the most important part, because now there's all that food supply for the nematodes to start growing and multiplying.
Wow. Well, this is pretty cool. Wish I had a microscope like this. So what else can we take a look at? You have any other worm species or parasites?
Yeah, I can show you some human parasites that I use for my class.
Ooh, human parasites. Let's check that out. All right, you lead the way. All right, back in the dirty lab, and okay, somebody already placed them on the table.
Yeah.
I'm guessing those are the human parasites.
Whatever gave it away.
Yeah, well, I wasn't actually even looking at that. I was just looking at that. This is what I always imagine would crawl out of my mouth if I had a tapeworm and I put the bowl of milk in front of me. Are those tapeworms?
No, actually, these are nematodes.
Those are also nematodes?
Yes.
Giant, supersized ones?
Yeah, they actually is called Ascaris lumbricoides.
Oh, that's complex for something that just straight up can be labeled disgusting, in my opinion. But you love these things, don't you?
Oh, I do.
This is fascinating
I love
to you?
parasites.
How would you know as a human if you had one of these inside of your
You probably would
organs?
have many of them in your stomach.
No. Dr. Stock, there's no way that I have any of these inside of
And
me.
you would look almost like pregnant with a big swollen belly.
Work on my physique a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you think that I might have some of those inside of me though?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
No. Woo! In the clear. So, Dr. Stock, there is a rhyme and a reason behind all this science and all the work you're doing with these incredibly fascinating nematodes. Can you sum that up for us real quick?
Yeah, so actually, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we are trying to develop alternatives to pest management.
So how does a nematode then help you control the pest population?
Well, nematodes actually are important insect parasites. If they are mass-produced and formulated, they can be used to our advantage.
Okay, so basically then the nematodes can help control populations of pest insects like these caterpillars that are just decimating crops and in a sense are becoming the pest control of the future.
Exactly, and actually even further, they are safe to the environment and to us.
That is so cool. Well, this is definitely one of the most complex and scientific episodes I think we have ever filmed. I learned so much today about nematodes. Dr. Stock, thank you so much for having us into the lab.
My pleasure. It's been wonderful.
Wow. That was crazy.
Hold on.
What?
We're not done yet.
What do you mean we're not done? I was going to give an outro.
You didn't have your snack, and you know, we titled this video, Eating a Parasite.
Oh, gosh. I was kind of hoping you guys forget about that.
I don't think you can leave this lab.
No, but I can say, wait a minute, you can leave. I have a present for you.
What's the present?
The waxworm.
Oh, which is a parasite, so...
Well, a parasite host.
Hey, if it's between eating one of these or a waxworm, I don't know, man. I think I'd go for the wax.
Give me the waxworm. All right.
I would say so. Actually, every lab member, to become a lab member, needs to have one waxworm.
So to earn my white coat, I must eat
one of these waxworms. A great source of protein.
And I'm just gonna dump this whole thing of waxworms in my mouth and chew it up?
Oh no, I can pick one for you.
Oh, just one?
Just one little
That's a lot
snacky.
better.
That's all I ask. Only one caterpillar.
Oh, you had to pick the big squisher.
You can become the official lab member.
Oh,
so
man.
instead of chopsticks with this forceps.
Now how do I know there's no nematodes in there?
I can guarantee that.
I'm trusting you here. Wait, I don't know. Guys, I might puke on this. You know what happens.
Will this help?
Oh. Yeah, that'll do it. That's 2,000 milliliters. That's probably what I got in me right now. All right, I'm gonna hand this little one back to you.
I can give you that.
Oh, Dr. Sack's gonna feed you.
Yeah, I can help.
Like you're like a little baby bird.
Just to make sure.
Can you make a little squawking sound like you're hungry?
Okay. Beep, 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 beep. Oh! Oh!
What's it taste like?
Oh, like a bad bean.
Bad bean?
Oh! I'm not holding it.
I'll give you some help.
There you go.
I swallowed it.
You did it?
I swallowed it.
You did.
I swallowed it and I didn't puke. Okay. Oh my gosh. You guys want to try? You want to join the club? Come on, man.
This might get me to puke.
I don't think so.
We have the bucket.
If it didn't make me puke, it's not going to make you puke.
This is called when the tables have turned.
Yeah. Well, look at me. I'm doing just fine. I ate the big one too.
Yeah.
Big squisher.
And he's all energized.
Yeah. Actually, I feel really good about myself.
Hold your
This is
bucket.
the first time I've never puked from eating something. I puked from eating fruit. These are worms.
That's definitely the grossest thing I've ever seen you eat.
Pretty impressive.
That one's not big enough. Get him that big one in the corner. Ooh, yeah.
What did I do to this guy?
That's Chunky Charlie. Yeah. All right, now make those bird noises, Mark.
Yeah, come on, Mark.
Tweet, tweet.
Make those bird
Come on, little baby
louder.
bird. Like a robin, I can't hear you. No. Chew it.
I had to swallow real quick.
Did you even chew it?
It popped. It went.
The popping is the worst part, and you expect there to be a real pungent taste, but there isn't. It actually tastes like a bean.
Okay, my lab coat.
That's the first time I've ever eaten a bug.
Oh man, that was...
I wish I could say that no bugs were injured in the making of this video, but unfortunately, a couple of them have been eaten. All right, Mario, I don't think you're gonna escape this one, buddy.
All right.
Official.
I ate a big lunch at breakfast.
You know, you can always top off a burrito with a little waxworm, buddy. It's the new dessert.
Oh. Where's your lab coat, Mario?
And you know the drill, buddy. You've seen us both do it. We're gonna need some good bird noises. What bird species would you like to be?
A cuckoo.
Okay, let's hear what a baby cuckoo sounds like, because it's dinner time. Mama bird has come back with a fresh pile of waxworms.
I'll do my little wings.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's great.
You're like, well, I can't hear the sounds. Coo, 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 coo.
Oh, it popped.
It's the food of the future.
Well, I'm in the present right now, and in the present, I had a burrito, but no, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Somebody get this man a lab coat.
Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. Do I have enough lab
Well, I
coats?
sure hope so.
Well, let's see. I'll give you my lab coat.
Hey, what a good mama bird.
Yeah.
All right.
Official.
Good job, guys.
Look at that.
High fives
Guys.
up here. Woo. We have all successfully eaten waxworms. Now my stomach feels really funky, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this camera and place it over here. Wow, I am incredibly proud of us, guys. We have all eaten waxworms, and we are now all officially doctors. Dr. Livens, Dr. Aldecoa.
Wait, we're doctors?
Yeah, that's what the lab coat means.
I don't think that's how it works.
Oh no, I'm definitely putting Dr. Coyote Peterson in front of everything now. Dr. Stock, thank you so much for having us into the lab today. This was enlightening. It's a beautiful day for a maggot box. A beautiful day for a maggot. Will they eat meat? Will they eat feet? It's a maggoty day for a maggot box with 300,000 flesh-eating maggots. Will they eat meat? Will they eat my feet? Ugh, it's time to feed my maggots. Hello, maggots. Oh boy, how have I find myself in this seat yet again? Coyote Peterson in front of a container filled with creatures that very well may eat him alive. Well, I've always been curious as to whether or not maggots eat human flesh, alive or dead. And today, we're going to answer that question. But before we get into the entertainment, and my feet go into this container with 300,000 maggots, first, we need to learn something about these creepy creatures. So we're going to take the science train to the Ohio State University and learn a little something about these creatures. Cheep, cheep. As a graduate of the Ohio State University, I'm returning to campus to learn more about maggots before I serve myself up as a meal. So I'll be chatting with Dr. Julie. She studies bugs and how they survive during the winter, specifically insect diapause, which is a state of suspended animation similar to mammal and reptile hibernation. Maggots are an ideal test subject for her research because, like Jon Snow, they can sense when winter is coming. Okay, Julie, let's get right down to it. I think we all want to know, what exactly is a maggot?
Yeah, so a maggot is an immature stage of any kind of fly.
So a maggot is a baby fly then?
Yes.
I could see the similarity to human babies, soft and squishy and round and, you know.
Yeah, except they have an exoskeleton.
Really, there's an exoskeleton on the maggot?
On the maggot, yeah.
Going from larva to pupa, maggots obviously need to fuel up. What would you say maggots primarily feast on?
Maggots like to eat rotting stuff, like dead carcasses or roadkill in the woods.
If given the option, will they eat human flesh?
So that's kind of a tricky question to answer. A lot of them will only eat dead stuff, but there are some that will burrow into human flesh if given the chance.
So maggots will technically eat humans if given the chance. Some species.
Some species.
Some
yes.
species.
How fascinating was that? Now that we've set up the science, it's time to perform an experiment of our own. Now perhaps you noticed the beautiful meat socks that I was sporting earlier on. That's right, these are sirloin wrapped in bacon. And if you're envious of these incredible socks, don't worry. They're for sale right now at shopbravewilderness.com because we figured who doesn't want meat socks for the holidays? Now those socks aren't necessarily gonna attract the attention of maggots. So what we've constructed today is a real meat sock. If you would. Thank you, sir. Oh, take a look at that. It's chicken skin sewed together with bacon. Now we're gonna stick one of my feet with nothing on it, live human flesh, down and into the maggots. On my other foot will be the meat sock. Will the maggots be able to tell the difference between a living human foot and a living human foot covered in dead meat?
Now, have you ever heard of meat socks?
I have not heard of meat socks.
You've
Tell me
not
more.
heard of meat socks. This is specimen number 001. Take a look at this here.
Wow, that's some pretty fancy sewing.
Yeah, what do you have to say about that?
That's impressive. I've never seen anybody make socks out of bacon before.
Now this is the meat sock that we have composed that my foot will go inside of to see if the maggots will not only eat the dead rotting skin,
yeah,
but go through the skin and, thank you for that, into my feet. Have you ever thought about crafting a pair of meat socks so that you can become a human experiment for your maggots?
I have not.
We could help
Yeah.
you come up with this design and advance it further.
Sure, my maggots really like to eat liver.
Okay.
So maybe some liver socks.
Perhaps the sole of a sock, and we could go sort of more of a shoe.
Yeah.
We've got a liver sole and a chicken skin outer. And what we really love about our design specifically is the bacon brim.
The bacon brim is a nice touch.
My foot is going into the meat sock. Oh, that is very slimy. And my foot is in. Oh! My foot is encased in chicken skin and bacon. Okay, here we go. Just do it, Coyote, just go for it. Oh wow, they're really warm, generating a lot of heat. Oh, that is really weird feeling. It feels like warm rice. All right, so I'm working my foot down and into the maggots. Oh, that is a really, really, really weird feeling. Now it's time to add in the delectable meat sock. Oh, that is weird. I can feel them all moving around the edges of the sock. All right, I'm gonna slowly massage the meat sock down and into the maggots. Oh, they are very, very dense and very, very squiggly. Now the clock begins. My feet are completely submerged, and now it's time to sit back and find out whether or not maggots will feast on human flesh. The life cycle of a fly breaks down into 4 distinct phases. First, a female lays a batch of eggs in some type of decaying organic matter. The process is quick, as these eggs will hatch in less than 24 hours. This is the second stage, known as larva or maggot. These hungry baby flies gorge themselves in order to grow and eventually molt into their next stage, pupa. During this stage, they develop a cocoon-like shell that looks like a mouse turd, where they go dormant and do not move or eat. Inside the cocoon, they metamorphosize, growing wings, antennae, and legs. And just like Jeff Goldblum in the mid-'80s, they hatch out as a fully grown fly, and the cycle repeats itself. My feet have been in here for about 30 minutes, and I can feel that the maggots are beginning to work their way into the meat sock. So there are now maggots in between the chicken skin and the human skin. And I don't know where things are gonna go from there, but I'm a little nervous about this foot at this point. The thing that doesn't translate is the smell. The smell of these maggots, which just smells like rotting flesh, is just maybe completely grossed out at this point. If you examine a single maggot under a microscope, you will see that they lack any weaponry for harvesting flesh. No teeth, beaks, Freddy Krueger hands, or venom-laced proboscis.
Whoa, 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 something might be happening with the meat sock foot. I am experiencing some sort of pain on the inner curve of my foot.
Instead, maggots have creepy mouth hooks that allow them to grapple and pull their rough-skinned bodies, scraping like a cheese grater over dead flesh as they squirm through a carcass.
I might be getting bitten. It's tough to tell, but it definitely feels like a pinching sensation.
During this process, they also secrete enzymes called peptidases that liquefy flesh proteins. And when you have thousands of maggots doing this all at once, it makes for a deliciously disgusting corpse stew that can easily be slurped down. No teeth needed for this meaty feast.
I'm just afraid that once I take the meat sock off, I'm gonna see like a maggot has burrowed. They can't like burrow into my foot, can they? Could that happen, Mario?
It's something that everyone's gonna find out at the end of this episode.
It has been several hours with my feet submerged into the box of 300,000 maggots. We are going to pull my feet up and out of the box to analyze what they look like. Now, the first foot we're gonna pull out is my left foot. Remember, this one had no meat sock on it. Wow, my foot's like completely asleep because it hasn't moved in so long. So I'm gonna bring it up very, very slowly. It's so warm. Oh, that feels so weird. Look at all the maggots that have collected in between my toes. It does not appear as if this foot has taken any impactful nibbles or bites. Now, we're gonna take out the foot with the meat sock. Now, it's important to note that I've taken a couple of nibbles on this foot, and the maggots have definitely gone to town on at least eating the bacon. So let's see if any of the rest of the meat sock has any holes burrowed into it. Here we go. Look at that. The maggots have worked their way into the seams and all into the bacon. The sock itself is pretty filled with maggots. Should we take off the sock? Okay. Oh. Ugh. Look at all the maggots pouring out of it. Oh. All right, so now what I want to do is analyze where I think I was bitten. Okay, right here, there is a very, very hard to see. Looks like a little red dot there. Some sort of nibble. Nothing though that has actually burrowed into my foot. Wow, look at that. The maggots have completely engulfed the meat sock that quickly. Hold on, don't get too lost in there yet. Look at that, they completely sucked it down into there. Let's watch that again. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep filming this. So what you're witnessing here are the maggots quickly engulfing the meat sock. It's exactly what they would do in nature, whether with decomposing animal or plant matter. They essentially envelop it and slowly begin to feast. Okay, my feet were inside the box of maggots for several hours, and as you can see, they're both still fully intact, which I think helps us answer today's question. Do maggots eat living human flesh? And the answer to that is absolutely not. While it's fair to note that I was nibbled on a couple of times, those nibbles did not break skin and certainly did not draw blood. In my opinion, maggots get a bad rap. I mean, they're creepy, they're squirmy, and they're always associated with death. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Remember, these are natural decomposers. They're cleaning up the environment by breaking down plant and animal matter.
So what we learned today is they're not going to eat you if you stumble upon them. And the next time you see a big swarm of them consuming an animal carcass, remember, they're simply doing their job. Established in 1948, the Australian Reptile Park and Wildlife Sanctuary is regarded as one of the country's premier animal attractions. Considered a hands-on learning facility, they are home to a countless number of animal species, including Tasmanian devils, and even one incredibly friendly Komodo dragon. And while their animal attractions have made them a world-renowned place to visit, it is actually their commitment to saving human lives that brings the crew and I knocking at their laboratory door.
Hi.
Hey, how you going?
You must be Kane.
That's correct.
Hi, Kane. I am Coyote. I'll let you finish playing with whatever you're playing with there. What is that?
Just feeding a little redback.
Oh, redback. Okay, cool. We did an episode on redbacks, but I brought you something a little more intimidating. I'm pretty sure we have a Sydney funnel web spider.
Excellent. My favorite.
Yeah, take a look. I know there are various different species, but we caught that one last night.
Local to this area?
Yes, about 30 minutes from here.
Excellent.
Oh, look how big it is.
It is a very large specimen you've brought me. I'm very happy with that.
Okay.
It is a Sydney funnel web. That's the good news. It is definitely a Sydney funnel web.
Is it a male? That's the big question.
It is not.
Oh, not a male.
No.
So this is not the venom gold that you guys are searching for.
No, it is the males. We use their venom to make the anti-venom.
Right.
This is a female.
Okay, I was really hoping that we were going to get to milk a spider today. Now, do you guys milk the females for anything?
We do. We definitely milk the females, yeah.
Can we milk this spider?
We can definitely milk this spider.
Great, so the venom does still have a value of some sort.
It definitely does. We send the venom away for different research laboratories to look into the venom.
Oh, sweet. Okay, well, we're still going to get to milk a spider, and that's exactly what we wanted. Now, can I actually milk the spider?
I will definitely let you milk that spider.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, why don't we do this? Do you have another spider that you can show me how to milk it? I don't know, different species or something like that. I don't really trust myself trying to milk it for the first time.
Now, funnel webs, they love to defend themselves vigorously. So if you do touch one, as you might find out, they will stand up. They will defend themselves.
Is this a male?
This is a female as well. This is a younger female.
Okay, wow, lot smaller.
A lot smaller.
So what's the big difference for anybody out there watching between the males and the females? Because I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, well, with tarantulas, the females are always girthier and heavier than the males. I guess that's the same way with the funnel webs. If I were to look at that, I would think, okay, that's definitely a male as compared to this.
Now, the large abdomen at the back is definitely one way to tell. The abdomen size compared to the head size is one way to tell the female, and the thicker legs.
Okay.
So the smaller of the two would be the male.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the male that has the most potent venom and the one that is extremely dangerous.
Definitely.
But a bite from a female, this wouldn't have actually killed me last night.
Most likely wouldn't kill you. Unless you're unhealthy or something, it's not going to do you a whole lot of damage.
Okay.
But we have to treat every bite as a potentially life-threatening bite.
Okay, so getting into milking.
Yes.
How does this process work? Mark, you got an okay shot there?
Yep. So what will happen, we've got a little vacuum hose going down to a little pump down there. We don't want to have too much suction and suck the whole spider in, but just touching them, you can see they stem. You can actually see the drops of venom on the tips of the fangs. And that's what we want. We want to get that venom from those fangs into the pipette. So when she stands up, you can see she's very, very aggressive there, pushing in some venom. We just draw the pipette down the tips of the fangs. They are hollow just like a hypodermic syringe. And by drawing that down as she's producing that venom, we're just sucking it up into the tip of this pipette.
Now, how many of the males do you need to milk before you get an actual vial of venom you can build an anti-venom from?
We look at having about 250 to 400 males in any 1 year that we will have to milk every single day right through the year to keep up with the quota we need to give to the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories.
And in your opinion, would you say this is the most dangerous spider in the world?
Definitely, definitely. You really do not want to get bitten by one of these. The good thing we have in Australia is the reptile park produces the venom to make the anti-venom. Since the anti-venom came out in 1981, we've had no deaths attributed to a funnel web spider bite. So
really?
It's very good.
Okay, so the research is working, the anti-venom is working, but how many people would you say are bitten every year? Because this is an extremely common species that's found in suburban areas.
Definitely. We have a lot of people and a lot of conflict with the funnel web spiders in the area. There's about 5 people every year that require a serious amount of antivenom. There are also bites that do present to hospital that don't have a severe envenomation.
Right.
And then may not require antivenom. It's always a last resort, the antivenom.
Okay, now the spider that we caught last night is a female. And fortunately, I was not bitten. But if I was,
what would I have wanted to do in that instance?
First thing you want to do is a full compression bandage on the area you've been bitten.
Okay.
If that was on your hand, any bracelets, rings, watches, jewelry has to come off straight away. Because
so this would have been problematic.
Definitely take it off. It will swell up straight away.
Let's say I was bitten on the tip of my finger.
Basically what we're going to go with a bite is you want to go around the bite site first of all.
Okay.
These bandages are great. They're going to tell us the correct tension to put it on. When they form a square, we know that they're going the right tension to restrict the flow of the venom. You go around the bite site, and then what you're going to do, because it's at the fingertip, we're going to go the whole limb. We don't stop at the wrist, we don't stop at the elbow. We go as far up as the bandage will allow us. Now that pressure, you can feel that's pretty tight.
Oh yeah, I feel like a mummy.
What the idea is it's restricting the flow of that venom going through your lymphatic system. We want to restrict that flow, and hopefully the venom will neutralize itself down here and not right through your body.
Okay.
Once you've got that on there, you're going to stay still. If you've got a button-up shirt or a sling, you put that on, and you want to get to hospital as soon as possible. Calling an ambulance or getting someone to drive you. You don't want to try and drive a vehicle yourself while you are bitten.
Yeah, I can certainly feel that it is providing quite a bit of pressure to my arm. Now, like I said, as we all know, I was not bitten, but here's the million-dollar question. Have you ever been bitten?
I've never been bitten by any spiders, luckily.
Really?
So no
wow,
spiders.
so you're extra careful when you're working with
Definitely
these
have to be extra careful working with it.
Yeah, well, when we were filming last night, I'll tell you what, I was nervous to be around that spider. This is good to know. I mean, it sounds like this is something that everybody should have in their first aid kit here in Australia.
Definitely in Australia. Venomous snakes around the world differ in different areas you wouldn't. In Australia, with our elapids, we need this same bandage will work on any of our venomous snakes as well as our funnel web spiders.
All right, well, let's take this off my arm. I've seen you milk a spider. I think if you guys are ready, I am ready to milk the Sydney funnel web. Does that sound good to you?
That sounds great. I'll put this little one away.
Things are about to get dangerous. Oh boy, here we go. I'm just gonna gently coax her out. There she is. That is one big funnel web spider right there. All right, I'm going to reach over here to grab the pipette. It's coming off of its clip. Here we go. Oh, wow, look at that. Wow. Okay, you can already see the venom coming off the tips of the fangs. And what Kane said is that I actually want to just kind of turn her a little bit.
So if you touch her back leg on this side, she'll turn to face the pipette.
Got it.
Going in with the pipette. Okay. Oh, my hand is shaking. Just gently taking that venom off the edge of the fangs. Wow, there we go. Okay, there's definitely venom there inside the pipette. We get her to rear up a second time, and she will just keep producing venom, right, Kane?
Yeah, that's correct. Even once you've got her up like that with the legs up, a gentle blow right towards those fangs will sometimes get her to push some more out for you. That's it. Just draw down the fangs. Yeah.
Just bit the pipette. You can feel the power in that strike. Okay, I think that's all the venom she has to give, and you know, it's not as much as I thought was going to come out of there. I could see why you guys have to milk so many of these spiders to build up a vial to create that anti-venom.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as much as you're going to get from one of our venomous snakes in Australia, but it does show you how potent it is. It's only a little amount that does a lot of damage.
Okay, now what do I want to do with this?
We'll put the pipette back safely over here.
Okay, I'll hand that
take
to
that
you.
for you.
I'm going to just put this little capsule back over her for safety's sake.
Excellent.
There we go. Wow. Whew, that was nerve-wracking. And you do this every day, don't you?
Every day, I love it.
Wow. Well, this was so cool. Thank you so much for letting me milk
Not a problem at all.
a funnel web
Appreciate
spider.
it.
Now, it wasn't a male, it was only female, but that doesn't matter. The venom is still of value. Now, for everybody out there watching, if you come across one of these spiders, try to safely catch it and bring it here to the Australian Reptile Park, because this is the only place that
milks funnel webs for the production of anti-venom in Australia.
That's right, guys. So if you bring one here, there is the chance that you're going to save a life. The Australian Reptile Park is the only sanctuary of its type in Australia that has a spider and snake venom milking program. And the good news is that their anti-venom creation has been saving thousands of lives for over 50 years. If you encounter a snake or a spider while exploring in Australia and admire the animal from a safe distance, your odds of being bitten are very unlikely.
However, unexpected bites do occur. And if you find yourself in this worst-case scenario, make sure to stay calm and seek medical treatment immediately. If you thought milking a funnel web spider was nerve-wracking, make sure to go back and watch the episode where we caught this infamous arachnid and got it up close for the cameras.
We're gonna bring out the Eastern Diamondback, which arguably is the most dangerous pit viper in the United States based on venom yield. I have a feeling that this is going to be intense. Holy cow, look at the size of that snake. Wow. Now, what makes these snakes so dynamic is that heat-sensing pit on the front of their faces, right? So right now, she's looking at me, she sees a heat signature that's definitely too big to be a prey item, which means I am likely a predator. I'm a threat at this moment. And like Carl said, I don't want to get any closer because as you can see, they strike incredibly fast. And that strike happens so quick, if you're bitten by a snake of this size, it has the potential to kill you without question.
No question about it. Right, an Eastern Diamondback, a bite from an adult Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake is a potentially fatal snake bite. There's no question. Somebody good? I'm going to go ahead and catch him.
Yes, it's time. All right, here we go, guys. We're going to do the...
I'm going to shift. I've got to shift him. Hold on, baby. Yep.
Take just a step back here. The most dangerous job in the United States right here, folks.
There's a little now to keep him on the table.
I'm going to shift him a little bit. Yep.
Carl, you're unbelievable. The focus that it takes, guys, to perform what this is.
Don't change anything. You're good, easy.
Okay. Whew. All right, got the backside. Wow, that is a very, very strong snake. Unbelievable muscular power without the body. Okay, you guys good? Whoa! That was a serious venom yield right there. My goodness.
And that's really what makes the Eastern Diamondback so potentially dangerous, is that capability to really pile it out when they need to.
Look at those fangs. Okay, is it okay to let go of the tail?
Good. Very good, Coyote. Excellent.
It's important to note that this venom will go into the creation of anti-venom, which eventually will save lives. So the work that Carl and Mara are doing here on a daily basis is saving anybody who accidentally comes upon one of these snakes and is bitten.
Come on, big boy.
Wow. That is a huge snake.
So you can see him a bit cranky. He's not the happiest about this arrangement.
Okay. Where would you like me to go? Just
right, so you just hang just there.
Okay.
And I'm gonna swing him, and then I'll get you to come in and just grab this back end for me. Because once I get him by the head, he's not gonna be happy.
Yep, go ahead, just focus, do what you're doing. Grab the body?
Yep.
Got him. Oh my gosh, it is so powerful.
Come over here.
Yeah, that is a big, big Maggot right there.
There.
Oh, wow, that is a huge venom yield.
Give his venom glands a bit of a massage, try and get a little bit more. But yeah, you can see him just chewing on that thing.
Wow, look at those fangs.
Oh, you can see him still chewing, still injecting venom.
Venom is still dripping.
And he's not letting go.
And the power in this snake's body is unbelievable.
There we go.
Oh, my goodness.
And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get you to put it in.
Okay.
I promise I won't let go till I'm
body first?
Yeah, body first.
Okay. Here we go.
Right, yeah. Now jump on back, because this is the bit that goes a bit sketchy. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh, nice job. That is a risky little game right there. All right, this is it. I'm going to assist in the milking of a water moccasin. As soon as I give Carl the go-ahead, the snake is coming out, and then it's up to me to make sure that we get a good soft body press so that Carl's not bitten in the process of what this is. Bring out the viper.
All right, again, kind of an average sized snake, perfect condition. And this is really typical of our local cottonmouth. This guy's a Volusia County snake. She was caught right here as a baby. These guys are really prolific or common in some of the forests surrounding DeLand. All right, let's go. We'll bring this guy. I'm gonna do the same kind of sweep here. Come on in with your press. Good, beautiful. You've got her, you're excellent. I've got her. You can pick her up. You're safe, good. Put your press down, get a hold of that body. Excellent, Coyote.
Make sure your hands covering that vent or you're gonna get
gonna get musked on? Okay.
Really good. Really good. Let's see if she'll give us a shot here. There she goes.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. You can feel the power in the whole body when they bite down like that. Oh, yeah.
There she goes
Holy
again.
mackerel.
Nice, good. Perfect. All right, we're gonna return her to her cage.
Okay.
You got her. Excellent, Coyote.
All my hands are
Beautiful
shaking.
job.
Wait until you see the gaboon viper. This is the world's largest viper, and they have fangs that can be as long as 2 inches in length. I mean, we're talking, that snake bites you, its fangs are going right through your hand. Wow, beautiful. Look at the horns on the front of that snake's nose. That is an intimidating snake right there. How dangerous is the venom of this snake? I mean, we're about to get that venom, but if you were to be bitten, what are you looking at? If you get, tagged on the foot or your hand, how much time do you got?
Big gaboon viper bite in the wrong place, or particularly if it hit a vein, could really be problematic quickly. So anyway, that's kind of, that little puff you just saw, that was just a little bit, okay, hey, what's going on here? I'm starting to get a little agitated. Okay. We're gonna try to avoid that.
Okay. Oh, listen to that hiss.
Okay, there's no pressure yet.
Perfect. Don't change anything. Got him?
Yeah.
Good?
Oh, gaboon viper. This is cool. I'm not gonna talk much, gotta let Carl keep his focus. I got a good hold on the snake's body. Whoa, my goodness. Get out of here.
And you get a sense of that big bite. Let's see if we can get her to penetrate one more time. And
just wow, look at that. It's gonna be really interesting to see the fertile ants not in its natural environment. I don't know what the snake's gonna look like, how big it's going to be, so I'm ready to be surprised. This is gonna get intense. Wow, yep, that's about the size we're used to seeing in Costa Rica. Look at that.
they are big, well-adapted pit vipers. They have highly developed venoms. Toxic venoms tend to be tremendously hemolytic, and in other words, do lots of destruction to blood cells. And so they account for a lot of bites in South America, as you know, or Central and South America. And so it's really a formidable pit viper.
I think this is probably the moment. What do you guys need me to do?
Just step off to the right a little bit. We're going to give Mara a little room to kind of work our magic.
Him secured, and then I'll hand him over to you.
Nice.
Okay,
right
pressure's coming down.
Oh,
strike.
And there's full pressure on the neck.
Perfect, good. Don't change anything. Perfect.
Wow, it's a strong snake.
Good. And you'll see, normally fertile ants are good, solid venom producers. And it went light today. Okay, sometimes the snake's going to give us only a small amount of venom, or his venom. We just allow the snake to bite and give us what he's going to give us voluntarily. And sometimes they don't give us a lot of venom. Remember, venom to the snake is precious. These are defensive bites, and he really has venom to obtain his food. Great job on the body.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back into the cage now, but even that little bit, you're looking at about 100 milligrams of dry weight there. That's absolutely probably multiple lethal doses of venom.
So next on the list is the coastal taipan.
Yeah, we're stepping it up quite a bit. So this is another large-bodied snake, except these ones are pretty nasty.
Okay, well, let's go for the coastal taipan and see what happens. Wow, this snake is big too. Oh, buddy.
So normally we cool him down a little bit, so he's a little bit unsure what's happening. But that might work to our advantage. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go. Wait. Yep, grab him.
Okay, got it. What a cool looking snake.
So ready?
Yeah, I got pretty good at holding on his body here. Ooh. Wow.
Give those venom glands a little bit of a squeeze.
Holy mackerel, that looks like more venom than the King Brown.
Yeah,
You're right, and you said he's the record holder for largest venom yield.
Yes, this guy's a pretty special animal. That is a bad time.
So if you were to be bitten by this snake and have that much venom go into you, do you think there's a chance you're going to survive?
Wouldn't be a very good chance.
Okay.
Just the sheer amount would almost drown your system.
So much power in the body of that snake. So streamlined. I love those scales.
Right, so get that tail in. 3, 2, 1.
It's time to bring out the Western Diamondback Rattlesnake. Oh yeah, that is a big boy. Beautiful coloration, my goodness. That's that classic warning right there. You better back up, don't get too close. Oh, it's flighty, all right.
some on it. Good. Perfect. Go ahead and come down. It's a beautiful, this is really the classic rattlesnake of the American West.
Yeah.
So they're beautiful snakes. It's a pretty toxic venom, and they still account for a fair amount of snake bite in North America every year. But we're gonna let this guy bite. They're typically pretty good producers. Whoa, strong. He dropped one fang, so I don't know if you can see it, but you only got a fang on the right side there. And so rattlesnakes shed their fangs. And about every 3 or 4 months, a rattlesnake will drop a fang and bring a brand new fang into its place. And sometimes there's a little gap in coverage, if you will, there. So you can see this venom on the top of the vial here.
Yeah.
So the duct is still putting out venom, but there was no injection apparatus to get it into the vial.
Wow.
So we're gonna pipette that off of there, move it back into the glass where it should be. In a snake like this, in a snake bite, you'd only get one fang, really, so that would be to your benefit, if that makes sense.
Very interesting.
All right, we'll go back in. If you're good, I'm ready.
I'm good, yep.
There we go. Perfect. And good. So now you can pick up that fang, and I don't know if you can see it, but on the front end of that fang is the hole.
Yes, I do see it.
So these guys have a beautiful hollow hypodermic needle that's perfectly adapted to injecting venom into a warm-blooded prey item.
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
And that's a big example of a southern.
I was going to say.
This is about the northern size. I mean, this is about as big as these guys get. And she's really a perfect example. That's a big copperhead.
I was gonna say, I've seen my fair share of copperheads. This is without question the biggest one I've ever seen. Wow. I'm gonna pivot out, Mara, and let you get into position, and we are going to begin the milking process. Copperhead. Now, where would you rank the toxicity of the copperhead's venom as compared to a cottonmouth or a diamondback, right? So this is not necessarily a bite that's gonna kill you.
Typically, no. Typically, no. Copperhead venoms are not seen as especially toxic. Copperhead venom is extremely hemolytic, so hemorrhage and destroys blood cells and this kind of thing. And that's a lot of copperhead venom, something like 50 milligrams in a shot, perhaps a little bit more for her. And probably takes well over 100 milligrams of copperhead venom to actually kill somebody, so it's just not typically a lethal dose that you get in a bite. She's beautiful. If you want to touch her, it's just a spectacular snake.
Wow.
All right, we'll bring her back, put her away.
Whoa, nicely done. Wow, this snake's beautiful. And you gotta be quick with the hands, huh?
Light. Yep.
Your grip? Man,
yeah.
Look at that.
Ready?
Yep.
Set. So, bugger all venom. Compared to those two big ones anyway. That's all you need.
That's it, the most deadly snake in the world right there. And just a single drop of that venom can kill you, correct?
Yeah. So that drop there would kill about 250,000 mice.
It's amazing to be hands-on with a snake that is this dangerous. I mean, even if I saw one of these in the wild, I don't think I would ever try to interact with it. I mean, we would film it from a safe distance, would never even think about catching it or heading it or certainly taking a look at those fangs. And you know, the fangs are not nearly as big as the other species, but man, to just know that that venom is so incredibly toxic.
We had someone get bitten by one last year, and he was in a coma for nearly a week.
Wow.
He made it through.
Amazing. All right, want to take it off the vial?
Yes, please. My hand's starting to cramp up.
Oh, look at that. Wow, that is a big snake.
So there she is. You can hear her starting to move just a little bit of air.
Whoa.
Good.
And hissing.
And hissing. And that she's basically saying, stay away from me. You know, and she's trying to gauge what's happening right now. Now we're going to move her here in just a second.
That's a dangerous little jack-in-the-box right there. It's just like, oh, cobra pops out right in your face.
You bet.
I don't want to distract Carl. I know I keep talking with him. He has to stay so incredibly focused right now.
Babe, I'm ready to take
I think this is just a good opportunity for a second to give you a sense how remarkably shy even the most dangerous snakes in the world are.
Yes.
So you can see she doesn't want anything to do with us. She's thinking, leave me alone. I was in a dark, quiet space. Why are you agitating me? And I think this is a great sense of, I don't want any part of you. You just let me be. Unfortunately, we have an agreement here and she's got to come out and pay the rent. So we're going to catch her.
It's unbelievable how fast the snake comes in and out of that box. I'm going to give Carl just a little bit more space here. Oh, big snake. Wow.
A second. Let's see if she's good. Come on in. Come on in. Good. Okay, good. Come this way. Come this way.
The snake. Twice the size of the table. It's grabbing onto the camera.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let her go.
It's the king's show right now. Don't worry about the camera. You're okay. Got it.
Mara, you still here? Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Good. Move her back.
Whoa!
So we'll allow her to bite 2 or 3 times, see what we can get. King cobras, of course, are ophiophagi. They're snake eaters, almost exclusively. And although here in captivity, our group are readily feeding on rats.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for a bite?
I think so. You guys ready to see the bite happen? All right, let's see how much venom this snake is going to give us.
So we'll see. Like I said, we'll have her bite multiple times.
Oh my goodness!
In king cobra venom, you can see that deep, beautiful yellow. And so as you can see, as she's chewing, she's injecting a little more venom each time. And we're probably looking at, oh gosh, 300 or 400 milligrams of dry weight here. And we think about 20 milligrams of king cobra venom as a lethal dose. So in the case of 400 milligrams there, you're looking at an awful lot of lethal doses, right? We'll see if she can do it one more time for me. She's done. There she goes, one more, and she's done.